of Barbells of Banter podcast. I'm your host, as always, Callum Sully. This is the first solo podcast I've done in, wow, probably the first one this year. I think I did one before my surgery, so that was back in start of the year, January. So, yeah, this is my second one in the entire year. Of course, we've had a lot of guest podcasts. I've had some fantastic guests in over the course of 2024 from all across the world. But I thought, with it being that time of the year, we're coming up to Christmas, New Year's around the corner, there's a lot of barriers that people are worried about. And I put a post, I've been advertising a survey on my social media. And first things first, guys, if you're not following me on social media, I want you to pause this podcast, wherever you're at, okay, YouTube, Spotify, go and make sure you do that now, okay? All my handles are Callum Sully Fitness. That's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, the lot. I'm on them all, okay? But mainly Instagram and Facebook. That's where you'll find me living the most, okay? So hopefully you've gone and done that. So why am I doing the podcast today? Well, I did this survey to my audience, to my followers, basically surveying, trying to find out what people were worried about the most heading into Christmas this year, the festive season. And what I've done is had a lot of people, okay, fill out this survey, fill out this questionnaire, and let me know what they were worried about, what their concern was when it came to their goals, their health and fitness goals, their weight loss goals, and their overall goals in terms of success in life. That's family life, career, and of course, their own health and fitness. So I had a lot of these. And what I did was compile the most commonly asked or the most commonly answered to my questions. Okay, the most commonly answered barriers or concerns that my audience, my followers have when it comes to this time of the year for their fitness and health, their overall progress, success. And that's why we come up with a podcast to basically answer all of them, identify them, what the barriers are, and then what I'm going to do. And because a lot of these are going to resonate with you listening to this, and hopefully I'll be helping you with those today, and I'll be answering gone through all of these, and I've come up with some incredible suggestions that I think are going to really work for you. See, I know what my audience, I know the challenges my audience face, because I know most of my followers on social media are following me for the same reason. They have lost their confidence in their body, in themselves, in their mindset. They don't like looking in the mirror. They don't like what they see. They avoid pictures of themselves. I tend to work with a lot of mums, new mums, who have struggled to adapt to their own health and fitness whilst now becoming a mum. That's their top priority. So this is the kind of audience that I tend to have. Perhaps that's you listening to this. And I do sympathise, I empathise, and I understand, because I've been doing this for almost a decade. And if you've been following me a while now, you will know I've worked with over 1,000 women on my programs, in person and online, helping to rebuild their confidence and get incredible results. So I am an expert on this topic, and hopefully I'm going to help you today. So I can understand the struggles. Now, a lot of the time, you might think, well, Callum, you're a man, you're a male, that works with women. How could you possibly understand? Whilst I'm very aware, there's a lot of hormonal, genetic differences, biological differences between the two sexes. Most of the time, the struggles that I've come across on my social media are the same. whether it be for men or women. But there is a lot of common ones when it comes to women. More commonly, body confidence, more commonly, body image, self-image, tends to be a more common issue when it comes to women. So rest assured, it doesn't have to be that way. If that's you listening to this, if you're nodding away thinking, well, that is me, I have some serious self-image problems. I have no confidence in myself. I don't like what I see in the mirror. I hate looking at photos of myself. And I don't know how to fix it. Well, small changes can create big shifts in mindsets. So, back to the barriers. A common barrier that people have is a financial barrier. People believe that they have to fork out so much money to achieve a new version of themselves, whatever their goal may be. But fitness, especially weight loss, doesn't have to be expensive at all. Fitness is free. Information is everywhere, on the internet, on the media, on social media. Anybody can Google how to lose weight and it'll be right there for free. Anybody can Google how to get in great shape, how to get fitter and stronger. It's all there for free. I've posted countless, thousands of posts, content on my social media over the last 8 years, giving exactly that, free advice. I have a Facebook group, a free Facebook group where I literally post every day fitness tips on how to get fitter, stronger, happier and healthier. So why is it a barrier? Well, it's a barrier because people don't pay for information, they pay for the implementation. There is so much information out there on how to lose body fat, how to build muscle, get stronger, get fitter. See, we already know the information. So why are we struggling financially? Because a lot of the time people understand that what they really need is accountability. They need someone to hold the hand. Now, I do that. I help my clients. I charge for it. That's what I do. I also give a lot of free fitness advice to a lot of my audience because I want to help everyone. But why do my clients pay me? Well, they don't pay me for my information. I mean, they get it along the way, of course. I'm very transparent. I like to let my clients know not only that they're getting results, but I want them to know how and why. It's important that they're getting results. But the reason why my clients will pay me is because they already have the information at their disposal on the internet, okay, in books. What they really need is accountability. And that's where it can become expensive. But it's only expensive when people are wasting money. You see, people might go, Callum, I'd love to work out, but I can't afford the gym. There are gyms, pure gyms, for example, Total Fitness, Planet Fitness, there's loads of them now, that are charging £15 to £20 a month memberships. I know a Domino's pizza is more expensive than that. And people have got no problem nipping to the pub 2 or 3 times a week, going out, eating takeaways, but they can't afford a £20 a month membership. Of course they can. So that excuse is not true, is it? You know, people will say they can't afford a healthy diet. And that's a more fair point. I agree. Healthy eating is expensive eating. we know we need more protein. And a lot of these supermarkets, a lot of these companies, Aldi, Iceland, Morrison's, Sainsbury's, they're all bad for it. They push out protein, protein, protein. Why? Because protein has been, and always will be, the most important catalyst, the driver that will get you to a change in your body. Yes, fitness is important. Yes, of course you need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. But the calorie deficit is the rule. Okay, it's the underlying principle. But the method, there are many. A lot of people don't like calorie counting. Calorie counting can and often does cause a bad relationship with food. But protein is one of the best tools for fat loss. It is the best tool for fat loss because protein consists of amino acids that repair cells in the body, particularly muscles, musculoskeletal system. And when you grow and repair muscle tissue, you increase your metabolism, your body uses up more energy, and it should choose fat, your body fat, to burn as energy because the protein is keeping the muscle tissue occupied. Protein is also very dense. Most foods that are high in protein are very filling, therefore you're going to be full. Most high protein foods, unless they're paired with fats, are typically lower in calories. So you're feeling full, they're lower in calories, they're keeping your muscle occupied. They actually increase your metabolism because the body has to break down so much of that protein that you're actually using up a lot of calories just to absorb and break down the protein. So it's no surprise that that would equate to a calorie deficit. And you didn't even count calories, you just increased your protein. So that is why, because a high protein diet is probably the easiest and most effective way to lose weight, or to lose fat specifically, it's no wonder that these companies have jumped on that notion and started to really push on that notion. So, but protein comes with a price, right? These protein yogurts, these high protein foods, even in the freezer sections, you can get these meals, they're all expensive compared to a bag of pasta, which you can get for under £1. That will probably feed you 4 nights of the week. Or a high protein ready meal that's going to cost about £4 or £5. That'll last once. And it probably won't even fill you up. So that is understandable why eating healthy is expensive. When we take the protein, then we take into the fact fruit and veg. Natural produce is expensive. Why? Because it's been a lot of work's gone into it from farmers. Okay, the transport process from the farming industry to supermarkets, and produce has a shelf life, a very quick shelf life. So they need to sell that produce before it runs out of date. All these things come with a high price tag. And yet, ready meals that are high in fat, salt, sugar, cheap. People got to eat, right? There's mums out there, they've got to feed the kids. They'd love to feed the kids healthy foods, but as I mentioned before, eating healthy is expensive. So how do we solve that problem? Well, we can eat well on a budget. Okay. And when it comes to diet, it more comes back to really analysing what you spend your money on. I'm a big fan of metrics and a budget planner. I like to know where I'm spending money and where it's coming, to the last penny. I don't like leaving things unaccounted for. You see, eating healthy, of course, is expensive, but really analyse where you're spending money on alcohol, on junk food, on meals out, on takeaways. You know, weigh it up. How much money are you losing on takeaways a month? Could you make some changes and introduce some high protein meals in your shopping? Get some leafy green veg in there. You know, things like broccoli, things like green beans, asparagus might be expensive and only last you 1-2 meals, but they're very filling and almost contain pretty much no calories. So you have to really assess. Whilst I agree that healthy produce is expensive, protein is expensive, people spend a lot more money on a lot more useless things, especially food and drink. Meal prepping. Bulk cooking is always going to be a good way to deal with this because there are things you can buy in bulk. Get a slow cooker out, get a load of vegetables, throw them into a slow cooker or a pan, a hob. You know, add a load of chicken or beef. You know, make a chili, throw some pulses in there, extra protein. If you don't like meat, corn is a great alternative to meat. In fact, I prefer corn mince than I do beef mince. True story. I genuinely do. And I'm not vegan or anything. I just prefer it. It's leaner, still got the protein source, higher in carbs, but I'm okay with that. I stay active. But if you bulk cook, it might cost a bit more money up front, but you can get 2 or 3 meals out of that bulk cooking. You can feed the family. There might be some extras for lunch the day or two after, or you could spend 20 quid on a takeaway that you'll consume in 5 minutes. It won't leave you feeling very good, and it's gone. You'll never see that money again, and you'll never get anything more out of it. Maybe cold pizza the next day. Now, I'm not a big fan of cold pizza. It might be an unpopular opinion. Now, when we're going back to expenses when it comes to exercise, you don't have to go to a gym. On my social media, I've posted loads of quick, free fitness routines that you can do from home. And I'm not the only one doing this. You can literally go on YouTube and find a workout, a full workout, fully demonstrated workout for free. There's no excuses anymore. When it comes to finances, the only time it's a barrier is when it comes to more tailored guidance. So like for myself, my top tier service is my one-to-one online coaching. And it's my most expensive. Why? Because I'm literally there by my client's side all the time. I'm literally a phone call away, a text away. Voice note is the more popular thing now at any time. Checking in weekly, giving them tailored programs. I'm learning about this person, what the barriers are, what the goals are, short term, long term, what events are coming in the way, how we can work around it. There's a lot of work on my side, and I charge a lot for it. But they're more likely to get results because they've put skin in the game. They've invested in something. The problem is with these cheap gyms, or the problem is with these free workout videos, there's no real problem with them. That's what they're there for. But are they going to equate to results? Sure, if you stick to it. But most of the time people don't. Why? because they haven't put skin in the game, because they've not invested their money into these free workouts, these cheap gyms. So people will invest into the cheapest gym possible. The Pure Gym perhaps, Total Fitness, £15 a month, up to £30 a month, maybe 50 in London. But Pure Gym's model is designed for you not to go. They make their revenue from charging cheap memberships and bank on you not showing up because it's disposable income. You might show up a bit at first and then you're like, oh, before you know it, oh, it's only £15 a month. You don't go. Likewise, you can start watching videos on YouTube. Absolutely wicked. I love that. I love that there is many content creators, many fitness instructors creating full-on courses, full-on workout courses and routines for free. Now, they're getting paid by YouTube revenue, but you don't have to pay a penny. But how likely are you to stick to it? Probably not. Why? Because you've not put skin in the game. So whilst I understand the barriers of finances, you also have to understand that there are things out there. There is things out there that are free. There's recipes, there's meal plans for free. There's workout routines for free. And there's very, very cheap 24-hour gyms available. But yet you're still not getting results. But you see, a lot of my clients end up saving money because they're not wasting money on shit that they would do prior. At least that's what I've been told by my clients. They said I've actually saved money because I'm not spending money elsewhere that I would have done prior to investing into working with you, Callum. So there is options. There is fitness is free. Weight loss is and always will be a free project to indulge into. The roadmap is free. You need to eat less and start moving more consistently. That's physics, it's science. Of course, there are other restrictions that can make that harder or easier for a person. Hormones, for example. You know, the endocrine system is incredible. I love endocrinology. I think that hormones are so fascinating. They are the most fascinating part of the human body, in my opinion. And the endocrine system, which is a system made up of glands along the body that regulate hormones, release hormones throughout the body, it is called the mothership. Now, the nervous system, of course, is the control center, but hormones can dictate what the nervous system does. And that includes changing your body. That includes fat loss. So there are, of course, hormonal barriers when it comes to weight loss, growing muscle, getting fitter and stronger. It's a roadblock, sure, but it's not a complete halt. The law of energy balance remains the same. It may just be harder to achieve, it may just take longer, but consistency will always plow through the barriers, always. But people want instant gratification. People become their own enemy when it comes to weight loss. People's lust for instant results, instant gratification, ends up becoming their undoing. Nobody gained 3 stone in a couple of weeks, even a month. but yet people expect to lose a stone and a half in a month. I think logic tells you that's not really going to happen. That's not realistic. Not in a healthy way, anyway. Brings me to weight loss injections, but that's a different episode. So yeah, weight loss is free. It's free. But you've got to put something. You have to put skin in the game. You have to put something into, to invest something, a resource. And if that's not money, if you can't afford to invest money into your goals, your fitness and health goals, your weight loss goals, then there are free ways to do it. But then you've got to invest something. And that's going to be a resource such as time, discipline, and consistency. And all three of those need to be applied. If you can't afford to get in shape, which is nonsense anyway, but if that's what you believe, if that's a true barrier of yours, then all you need is those three things. Now, sticking with barriers, let's talk about the most important one in my mind, which is confidence, or lack of. Now, it says in my Instagram bio, I help busy women regain their confidence without restriction. So what does that mean? Well, I suppose you could say that I am a women's weight loss specialist. But over the years, I've kind of shied away from calling myself a weight loss specialist because I am, and I'm the best at it, but I don't particularly like to, I don't want to look back at my legacy and that's what I've been known for. The more powerful thing that I'd like to be known for is changing someone's mindset and making them a better version of themselves overall. I want to make someone look back at their old self and give themselves advice that they've learned along the way. When people walk in to my gym and they celebrate a goal, and I can see the confidence radiating from themselves, from the room. You can feel it in the back of the room. The confidence when you walk into that gym through that door, and people can feel it. And they turn to me with a smile on their face and they say, "Ready to smash it today. I'm feeling good." That is the most rewarding part of what I do for a living. Sure, when people lose 4 pounds, they hit a weight loss goal, perhaps they drop a dress size, incredible. But let's just stick with the scales. If you lose 5 pounds, if you lose 7 pounds, that's great. But only you know that weight. Only you and a machine know that weight. You can tell people, "Oh, I've lost 7 pounds." Great. What does that look like to people? Because 7 pounds to me might look different to 7 pounds to your spouse, to your friend, to your mum, to your sibling. And there's truth to that. Because what 7 pounds is gravitational pull to the earth. That's just what a number on the scales are saying. That's how hard gravity's having to pull you down. But most people, when they're talking about losing 7 pounds, I imagine what they're really wanting is to see that 7 pounds lost aesthetically. But did you know you can drop a dress size without losing a pound? You might think, how's that possible? Well, it's possible through something we call body recomposition. And what body recomposition is out of your body weight, there are percentages of that weight that are made up of several factors: bones, organs, fluid, that's in your blood, and water, muscle, and body fat. So when you look at a number on a machine, you have to take all them factors into consideration. That the machine is reflecting back to you all of those things I just mentioned. But what we think about is one. Excuse me. We think about one: fat. And it's not helped by a very dated system called BMI, Body Mass Index, which was introduced to help determine someone's body fat. Which is ridiculous, because body mass doesn't mean body fat. So body recomposition is where we adjust those percentages within the body. So if you are 40% body fat, and we're trying to drop that down to 30%, we might notice that the other metrics within our body weight might increase. Muscle could be going up. Water will then be going up. You know, you might be improving blood flow. There might be some increase in calcium within the bones. It's all weight. So recomposition is basically building more lean tissue and decreasing body fat. Sorry, that's something in the back of my throat. Just have some water. So when people say that they want to lose weight, what they really mean is they want to lose body fat. But body fat and body mass is not the same thing. Of course, if you're gaining fat, you are going to gain body mass. But if you are exercising, if you're building muscle, which, by the way, is smaller than fat in surface area, muscle is much smaller than body fat for the same weight. So if you're building muscle, which takes up less space in surface area, muscle requires a lot of energy. So if you imagine a car, you upgrade a car to a bigger engine, it uses up more fuel to sustain the power behind that car to go faster. Uses up more fuel. If you're building muscle, it needs more fuel. So your body will burn stored calorie from fat cells. Stored calories from fat cells. Guess what? Fat loss. Now I want to just rewind here to what I said initially, which was you can drop a dress size without losing a pound. And the way that we can do that is through building more lean tissue, that's muscle, but with that will come water, other nutrients I've mentioned before. And by building muscle, metabolism is going to increase and we will burn more body fat. Muscle gain will equate to fat burn. However, muscle weighs the same as fat, it's just smaller. So let's debunk that myth that you may have heard over the years of muscle weighs more than fat. No, of course it doesn't. A kilogram's a kilogram. However, muscle is much smaller and denser. And muscle is also filled with water, where fat isn't. So you can get leaner, build more muscle, which is smaller than fat, therefore physically, aesthetically, you will start to shrink. And that's how you can drop a dress size without the scales budging. Because yes, you're dropping fat, but you're building muscle, which is increasing water retention. In fact, the scales might even go up. Which is why Slimming World don't want you exercising when you're following their plan and going to weekly weigh-ins. They'll say exercise hinders weight loss. Of course it doesn't. That's ridiculous. What it's doing is breaking the body, increasing water retention, which is making the scales go up. And Slimming World basically makes money from them scales going down. So that's straightforward. So, lack of confidence. Okay. So, a lot of the time, people don't have the confidence to start a fitness journey because they're already unfit. Think about that. I can't get fit because I'm not fit enough. What does that even mean? Listen to yourself. Everyone has to start somewhere. People who are physically fit, athletes, sure, there are people with amazing genetics that are built like Greek gods, but most people don't just become fit. They don't just become lean and athletic. They start. They start weaker. They start sluggish. Definitely less fit. People get fit. And that's how they get fit, and then they can increase that resistance. They can increase the level of fitness that is required. That's how people go into competitive sports. That's how people go into competitive fitness. Become Olympians, athletes. They didn't just pop out of the womb and be like, right, I'm a pole vaulter. I'm a pole vaulter. No, you're not. You've got to work and train for it. Okay. Yes, of course, there are some hereditary considerations. There are some hormone considerations that I mentioned before. There is some genetic makeup that can put people at an advantage and therefore people at a disadvantage. But ultimately, fitness is for everyone. Fitness is for everyone. You don't already have to be fit. And you don't need to be confident to start being fit either. If you want to get confident, it starts with a lack of confidence. But it does require some bravery and some discipline to achieve confidence. So how can we deal with that? Well, confidence can take time to build up. You know, I can't stress enough the importance of celebrating small wins. Walking more is a massive win. If you can do 1,000 to 2,000 more steps than what you've been doing on a daily basis, that's a win. You spend a day where you choose water over a can of Coke, that's a win. If instead of reaching for a pack of chocolate hobnobs, you reach for a protein bar, that's a win. If you decide, instead of staying up and binge watching another episode and jeopardizing your sleep, you decide you're going to take yourself to bed, wind down, read a book, or maybe just meditate and have a nice deep sleep, allowing your body to rest and recover, that's a win. If you can drink 2 glasses of water more than you have been doing on a daily basis, that is a win. These small wins will start to build up confidence in the journey, confidence in yourself that you can achieve the journey, And then they'll start to make some gradual changes aesthetically, which will make you feel more confident in the mirror, make you feel more confident looking at photos of yourself, looking at your visual progress, which starts to build more self-confidence. But all of that started from one small change to start with. Another thing when it comes to confidence is, you've got to rethink fitness. You've got to see fitness as something more flexible than you believe it is. Fitness doesn't mean hours in the gym, but it can mean movement that you enjoy. We mentioned walking before. Taking your dog for a couple more walks, taking them on a slightly bigger walk, playing with your dog in the living room, playing with your kids, getting your kids involved in something a bit more active rather than dumping them in front of a screen. Exercise can be fun. You could do a squat off. There are YouTube videos, okay, of fitness workouts to Baby Shark. The kids will have a great time. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's something. And you might even enjoy it. And guess what? If you enjoy any form of fitness, you're far more likely to get better at it and become more confident. So fitness can be flexible. It doesn't have to be what we think it is. Now, time management strategies are also important. We'll get to that in a second. So focusing on consistency over perfection will build confidence. I mentioned before, those little consistent changes are more important. People strive for perfection rather than consistency. But to be perfect, you need to be consistent. No one just wakes up, gets out of bed, and like, right, brilliant, I've got abs. I can go to the gym now and smash a PB. I can lift my body weight and do 20 pull-ups. No. Small, consistent changes built up over time to allow that person to become not only physically fit enough, but more confident in themselves to do that. And it all started off with consistency. Self-compassion as well, because progress takes time. I have a lot of participants who would do my 6-week challenge, the work off, and they'll get great results. And then right after that, they go backwards. Why? Because yes, sure, they got progress. It was fantastic. But it takes time. It takes a lot longer than 6 weeks in the grand scheme of things. Not only have you got to make the changes, you've got to allow for consistency to come in. And you have to be compassionate on yourself when that doesn't happen. No weight loss journey is linear. It's a bumpy roller coaster of a ride. There'll be moments throughout the year where you lose weight. There'll be moments throughout the year where you go backwards and you gain weight. So what? Have some self-compassion. Who cares? Like I said before, it's a number on a machine. Who gives a shit? Yes, of course, you are putting stress on your health if you are severely overweight. And that might be cause for concern when you need to start the ball rolling. But even then, small changes are still wins and still a step in the right direction. But have some self-compassion. Stop. So many people give up on their fitness journey because they get one minor setback after making a lot of progress, and that's it. They throw in the towel. Oh, I can't do this. I'm not built for this fitness thing. No, you haven't really got a choice. Because if you want a long, healthy life, to watch your kids grow up into adulthood, to watch your grandkids, then you need to start focusing on fitness. There is no, oh, this fitness thing isn't for me. No, fitness is for everyone, and it should be for everyone. Doesn't matter what your barriers are. Okay. Now, fourth barrier, there's one more after this, guys, don't worry, is time. Busyness. I work with a lot of busy women, and their most common barrier is time. Whether that be because they're a mum of young kids, or whether that be because they're busy working in a hectic career. High performing women haven't got time to work out. They get up, they're thinking about work. They go home, they're preparing for the next day at work. They know they need to work on their fitness, but they just don't have the time. But this is why things like HIIT workouts are great, which is most of the workouts I provide are HIIT workouts. Now, HIIT workouts is a buzzword, but they are effective. The reason why they became so popular, particularly during lockdown, is because people were at home, they didn't have access to equipment where resistance training can become prominent. HIIT workout is a great short burst of activity that will attack all energy systems. That's cardio. Resistance training, so it'll attack your musculoskeletal system, your strength training, but also coordination, mind to body connection, balance, flexibility, mobility, posture. It's all there when it comes to HIIT training. And the beauty of HIIT training, it can be short on time. We're talking 5 to 15 minutes worth of explosive but short bursts of exercise that can fit into a busy schedule on your lunch break. Get up 15 minutes earlier. Whilst you're waiting for your kettle to boil or your coffee machine, you can do a few squats. You can even spread them out throughout the day. You don't have to do a workout all in one go. You could set yourself a goal of doing 100 squats throughout the day and do 20 every couple of hours. Your body still feels it. For more lighter activity, you can't beat a good old walk during a lunch break. When you're answering calls, can you move about? I can hit 4,000 to 5,000 steps, burning holes on my carpet on a phone call, rather than sitting down. So there are time management strategies that we can also put into place, like where we schedule our workouts, where we schedule our steps, our dog walks, to benefit us. On the nutrition side, where can we book a time? We can designate a block of time for our meal prep to make our nutrition easier, so we're far less likely to reach for the naughty stuff because we've already prepped our food in the freezer, in the fridge, ready to go. Wraps, casseroles, things that you've made in bulk cooking, which I talked about earlier on in the episode. There are ways to make time work for you. The final barrier, guys, that was popping up all the time when I was running this questionnaire, I'm just pulling it up there because it was mum guilt. Now, this is a real thing, and I didn't really come across it this year when I was doing a podcast with a guest. Okay. Now, when people answer my questionnaire, they didn't say mum guilt. I read between the lines, but they would say similar things that all equates the same thing. They don't feel like they can prioritize their health and fitness because their priorities are elsewhere. They have family commitments, their kids. They might have illnesses in the family. They might be carers. Perhaps on a career side, they're high performing, busy, working women with long careers ahead of them. And they feel guilty for jeopardizing that to work on their body image or their fitness and health. You know, demanding careers, university, studying, education, again, similar to careers. They feel guilty taking out 20 minutes to focus on their health and fitness, whether that be exercise, whether that be meal prepping healthy food, whether that be meditation or going to a class or sport, because they should be using that 20 minutes to work on other priorities, other commitments. The problem with that, though, guys, is that if you don't prioritize yourself, what good are you to other people or other commitments? Your family, your friends, your boss, your employees, employers. You've got to set some boundaries. You've got to say no to extra work. Protect your personal time. It's sacred. You know, you've got habit stack. There's a thing called habit stacking, which is where you combine something that you're already doing on a regular basis with something new that you want to introduce. Now, my favorite one. So, for example, if you're brushing your teeth, you could be doing some squats in front of the mirror. You know? My favorite one is most people have a morning hot drink, coffee. You know, whilst you're waiting for the kettle to boil or your coffee machine to be making your coffee, could you do some stretching? Could you put your stretching mat in front of your coffee machine? Because you're already going to make your morning coffee anyway. So why not, while you're waiting, do a quick couple of stretches or do a plank? Why don't you do a plank whilst you're waiting for the kettle to boil or your coffee machine to make your coffee? See how long you can hold it for. And what we're doing here, guys, is we're introducing new habits into existing habits that we already do anyway. So that's one of the ways that we can implement a fine balance between the career side of things or, you know, the busy side of things. Let's go back to the guilt, the mum guilt, because we have to prioritize self-care. You can't, this is saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. I will have it so many times where clients that I currently work with and people I've worked with in the past will go, Callum, I'd love to work on myself, but I can't. You know, my kids need me. As soon as I leave the room, they're young kids, they start crying. I get it. I understand. I've been a parent. I'm not stupid. But the fact remains the same. How can you be your best for those that need you if you're not working on yourself to be the best? You might say, Callum, it's easier said than done. Well, yeah, it is easy, but it can also be done. I never said it was easy. Of course, it's easier said than done, but it still needs to be done. Because otherwise, the long-term effects will be far worse, and then you'll look back and regret it, and then that's going to make you even more guilty and even less confident than what you were anyway. You know, when it comes to guilt, prioritizing your self-care over your childcare, why not intertwine the two? Why can't you get the kids involved in the fun activity of, oh, let's make some healthy food? Let's get creative with it. Set rules. Right, kids, we're going to make, mum's got a challenge, we're going to make some food, but they have to consist of only 3 colours. Help me pick the ingredients and let's try and make sure that we stick to that plan. Kids love rules, they love games. Right, kids, I'm going to do a workout. It's mummy's time for a workout. What I want you to do is jump on either side of me while I do these squats. I want you to try and hold mummy down while I squat. You're getting a fantastic workout. They're having a cracking time and they're laughing their head off. Not only that, but they're watching you do these things and they're joining in And that's setting a fantastic example because they're seeing you be happier, getting fitter, healthier, stronger, and more confident. What do you think that's going to do with them? What do you think they're going to grow up to see and inspire to be themselves? And they'll start earlier. So that is my tip there. Share tips for involving the kids in these activities like I mentioned. Okay, prioritize your health. You'll get better energy, you'll be in a better mood, and therefore you'll have the ability to show up for them and set a better example. No, self-care is not selfish. Self-care is essential because you can't pour from an empty cup. Guys, that's my responses to my most common barriers on my quiz when it comes to this time of year. Now, how do we tie it into this time of the year? Because that was quite generic. Well, of course, Christmas, money's tight. One of the barriers we covered. Okay. We might be, well, kids are going to be off school at some point. No matter where you're listening from, there will be some form of holiday where your kids are off school. That's going to affect time. You might have a heavier workload over Christmas, depending on the industry you work in, because of sales that requires more admin, more of your time, or more of your physical labor. Okay. And in the process of this, that's going to make you feel guilty and less confident. So they are the most common barriers as we head into the festive season, and hopefully some of the responses I've given you guys will give you a bit of light a fire under you and hopefully give you some benefit. Guys, make sure to follow me on social media, as I mentioned at the start of the episode. Let me know if you found this podcast helpful. Okay, please leave a comment. Make sure you follow on Spotify and YouTube, and head over to my social media and let me know if you have any questions. Say hello. Come and let me know. If you listen to the episode, if you've got any follow-up questions, I'll happily have a chat with you. My door's always open. Okay, I don't charge for my time to give advice and help people out. It's what I'm in this industry for. If you would like to work with me, you can go ahead and do that. Okay, just go on my social media, click the link, we can chat on ways I can help you. But again, fitness is free and fitness is for everyone. You've been great. I've been Callum, and that was episode 49 or 50. 50. Sorry, I didn't realize I'm celebrating my 50th episode of the podcast since it was first launched in 2020. So it was a pleasure to do this solo podcast and get all my expertise out there and hopefully answer those barriers that so many of my audience were responding to. If you have any more barriers that I missed out on the list, guys, please send them over. I'll happily cover them in another episode. Okay, guys, thank you very much for listening. I look forward to speaking to you again soon. Take care.